Good morning, and it's a lovely November morning too. My name is Murph, and welcome to Prog Monster, a site dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So today we're doing a top 10 video, and I've chosen to do one of my group of 7, which is Genesis. So we'll be doing the top 10 songs of Genesis today. This was probably the most difficult one I've had so far. Some of the other ones, it was difficult. How do you say it? In the top part of it, but not so much difficult to get 10 songs out of it. This one here was difficult from the top to the bottom. I mean, other than the top 2 songs, the rest of them could have gone in any way, given any day of the week, depending on how I felt. But I'm satisfied that I got the 10 that I wanted. But I've made a fairly extensive list of honorable mentions, because a lot of these other songs, the honorable mentions, they could easily end up being on the top 10 on any given day. So today we'll start with the number 10 song, and that for me is I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe. I don't know what it is about this song, but there's just something catchy about it. I think it's Peter's voice. His vocals in this are pretty typical Peter Gabriel vocals, but for some reason I just find them more catchy than they do on most of his other stuff. This, of course, comes from Selling England by the Pound, which is pretty close to, if not my favorite Genesis album. And I just love this song. It's always one of those songs I listen to all the time. The next song up, number 9, comes from Foxtrot, and it is the lengthy masterpiece called Supper's Ready. I don't think you can be a Genesis fan without being in love with this song. It is just a fantastic song. One of the first early kind of long, complicated songs that a lot of progressive rock bands did early on in the 1970s, and this was one of the best. I rank it right up there with Close to the Edge. That's how much I like it. Maybe not quite as much, but pretty close. Great song. Just the keyboards are really fantastic. The story is great. Peter's voice is fantastic here. Just love the song. Okay, perhaps number 8 is perhaps a song that you might not expect to be in a top 10 from Genesis, but it's a song I've long liked. I've liked it since the beginning, since I first heard Foxtrot, and I'm talking about Can Utility and the Coastliners. It's another type of mid-range Genesis song, one that, is not super long, but is longer than the average song, and I just really have dug this song since the beginning. The first time I heard it, it's always right there in my top 10. Like, it's always one of the songs that's just either in the top 10 or right on the cusp of being in the top 10. And for today, it's number 8. Okay, now we get into the songs that are probably a little bit more likely to be in my top 10 all of the time. For today, I've chosen one from Wind and the Wuthering, which was one of my first. I think it might have been my first Genesis album. It's one of the really solid, probably the last kind of solid progressive rock album before they started to move away into a more poppy-oriented type of music. But the song I've chosen is 11th Earl of Mar. I love the keyboards in this. I love the guitar. I love the kind of how do you say it? The kind of pounding that it does. Like it just kind of moves along. It's melodic, and the drums in this song are fairly good too. Phil Collins does an excellent job on the drums here, as well as the vocals, because he's the vocalist in this song. Okay, the next song up is probably the first Genesis song from the Peter Gabriel era that I ever liked, and it's number 6 today, and comes from the Trespass album, and that's The Knife. I love the lyrics in this song. I love his voice. This is a much heavier song than most of the Genesis songs that are on the list. It's also probably the heaviest on the first album, and it was, to me, it's their first really great song. I love the really heavy guitar and bass part in the middle of the song. Just fantastic. Drums are really good on this album. This is pre-Phil Collins, so but still very good. Then we have my number 5 song, which is similar to The Knife in a lot of ways, and perhaps the reason I like it, it came out on the next album. Again, another pounding song. For Genesis, it's a pounding song. And I love this story. I love Peter's voice in this. Again, Peter, he's like almost screaming in this song. For him, that's a lot. So I'm talking about my number 5 song is Return of the Giant Hogweed. Fantastic song, and probably this comes from the Nursery Crime album. It's probably one of my all-time favorite songs from Genesis. It's moved up and down over the years, but it's always been in my top 10. It's never been out of the top 10. So love that song a lot. Okay, then we go to the number 4 song, which is completely different than the last two. A much more mild, mellow song. Probably should have been a radio hit. It did get some radio play, but for me, it's been a long-standing favorite, and it's grown only over time to become my favorite on this particular album, which is Trick of the Tail. It wasn't initially one of my favorites on the album, but it just continued to grow, and I just love the vocal part. It's a song I like to sing a lot too, so that really strengthens its position. So number 4 is Ripples. Number 3, number 1, 2, and 3. These songs could all switch on a daily basis. Definitely number 1 and 2 they have in the past. Number 3, not so much, but it has the potential to be there too. The number 3 song comes from Selling England by the Pound, and I'm talking about The Cinema Show. I love The Cinema Show because it's droning, it goes on. The keyboards on this are fantastic, as it is on the other 2 songs too, but especially on this particular song, The Cinema Show. I just think that the keyboards are what make this song such a strong song. The number 2 song comes off of Nursery Crime as well, and it's called The Music Box. I love this song. It's not the best vocal song by Peter Gabriel, or even the best instrumental song overall. It's just the whole package of this song is fantastic. I just love the lyrical part. I find myself singing this song all the time. It's been one of my favorites since the beginning of my journey with Genesis, and it remains near the top of the list, and will probably continue to remain near the top of the list because I don't think Genesis is going to be making too much more if they ever make anything else. Okay, and the number 1 song today and often is Watchers of the Sky from the Foxtrot album. This song is magnificent in scope. It's great live. The keyboards are fantastic. All the instrumentation on this is just top level. The vocals, of course, are great. I think Genesis on this album, Foxtrot, were really reaching for the stars, so to speak, and this song is just right at the top of that list. In some ways, this song kind of reminds me of Awaken by Yes. It's on the same kind of grand scale. I think it's probably a better song than that one, but at least it's one that I probably would choose over that one. But just a great song. So there you have it. My top 10 Genesis songs. And just to go over them again, Watchers of the Sky was number 1. The Music Box was number 2. The Cinema Show was number 3. Ripples was number 4. Return of the Giant Hogweed was number 5. The Knife was number 6. 11th Earl of Mar, number 7. Can Utility and the Coastliners was number 8. Supper's Ready, number 9. And then I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe was number 10. Now there was a few songs that were pretty close to getting those last couple of spots. I think there's some fantastic Genesis stuff that, you just can't make a top 10. Even, I probably got another 15 songs here, so I'll just go over them. Trespass, Stagnation, love that song. To me, Stagnation, The Knife is the hardest song on the album and probably the most notable song and one of my favorites, but Stagnation, to me, probably symbolizes that album more than any of the other songs. The Fountain of Salmacy on Nursery Crime, another great lengthy tune. Gotta really like this song. It just, it was close. It was pretty close to making that list, but I'd already had a few lengthy songs on there. Supper's Ready and Watchers of the Sky and the Cinema Show, and I wanted to kind of space it out a bit, so I decided at the last minute to go with I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe as my number 10, but this song could have easily been on that list. Dancing with the Moonlit Knight from Selling England by the Pound, as well as Battle of Epping Forest and First the Fifth. 3 excellent songs, all for very different reasons. I like the story and the kind of tongue-in-cheek humor in Battle of Epping Forest, but the other 2 songs, Dancing with the Moonlit Knight is one of the great Genesis classes. Easily could have made my list as well. And the First the Fifth, it goes without saying. From The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, I have The Cage, In the Cage, and Carpet Crawlers, both excellent tunes. Could have easily made I've been listening to them a lot lately, so I may have worn them out a bit and maybe knocked them down a bit, but could have easily made that list too. The other album, which is probably one of my favorite Genesis albums, which is Trick of the Tail, I had Entangled, Robbery, Assault and Battery, and Madman Moon, all excellent tunes off of that. I could have included even Squonk, I think. Squonk was probably my favorite song on that album initially, but it has so many good tunes on that album. Just love it. Okay, the other album, Wind in the Wuthering, that's an album that it was my first Genesis album. I've long liked it. One for the Vine, All in the Mouse's Night, and Blood on the Rooftops, all to me are easily classic Genesis songs. All could have been very close to that line as well. Okay, and the last, I had 2 songs from the post Wind in the Wuthering era. And it isn't that I don't like some of the stuff from the Genesis stuff from the 80s and 90s. It's just that it's competing against this stuff, and it just doesn't quite measure up to it. I'm a big early Genesis fan, and though I don't dislike the more modern Genesis stuff, it just doesn't measure up to the same standard, in my opinion. And the only 2 songs I have from that era are from, and then there were 3, which is Deep in the Mother Lode. I love that song. It's been my favorite song on that album since I first heard it, and it's still my favorite. There's a couple of other songs I don't mind on that album. And then, of course, Abacab, which I had recorded that on a tape, and I still have that tape. And it's a great song. I really love the pounding beat of Phil Collins's drums and the just same pounding beat that Tony Banks uses on the keyboards in this song. It's a great song. Anyways, there you have it. My top 10 songs of Genesis, my top 10 favorite songs of Genesis, and then a bunch of honorable mentions. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it and give me your top 10. I'd love to hear other people's top 10s, and if you want to tell me why, that's even better. And subscribe if you'd like to hear more of this type of material. Anyways, there you go. I'm happy to have been able to do this today. I will be doing some videos this week. I think I'll be doing a look back, and for sure in the next day or two I'll be doing my collectibles, my haul for the month of November. It's not too big this week. It's the stack right here, and that'll probably be what I do, either the next thing I do or the look back, one of the two, but they'll both be done probably by Friday. No, there's another Genesis song. Anyways, this is Prog Monster signing off. I hope to see you soon. Bye.